USS Gerald R. Ford is the largest city at sea and most technologically advanced aircraft carrier in the world. This massive supercarrier cost nearly $13 billion and took nearly 4 years for Newport News Shipbuilding to construct. It is a ship with thousands of people living, working, and sleeping on board for months at a time. It can launch or land an aircraft approximately every 25 seconds. This rapid tempo is made possible by the ship's advanced design and technology. The Gerald R. Ford is a massive aircraft carrier, stretching over 1,000 feet in length and boasting a displacement of over 100,000 tons. Powered by nuclear reactors, this behemoth can reach speeds exceeding 35 knots, allowing it to traverse oceans in mere weeks. Crew members are vital in ensuring the smooth operation of the carrier. They maintain the deck, search for foreign object debris that could damage aircraft, and participate in daily operations. The navigation bridge serves as the heart of the carrier, where air control and navigation take place. Day and night, the ship buzzes with activity. The galleys churn out food non-stop, serving 3 meals a day plus midnight rations, also called midrats, a reheat of the day's leftovers, much beloved by the tired watchstanders and insomniac pilots. It is incredible, as it involves around 18,000 meals a day that's made by more than 100 cooks. While sailors eat, sleep, and work aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford, 2 nuclear reactors thrum deep inside the ship, turning the screws that propel the ship and keep the lights on. Their 600-megawatt combined output is 3 times the power plant on the Nimitz-class carrier the Ford is intended to replace, and enough to power a small city. When the sailors aren't working, they indulge in small pleasures. A fresh haircut from the ship's barber shop, a cup of Starbucks from the ship's coffee shop, a workout on the hangar deck where the open doors give them a view of the cold and foggy Atlantic as they lift weights, row, or pedal on stationary bikes. But life aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford is not easy. Conditions are cramped, with personnel navigating tight hallways and steep staircases to move from one part of the ship to another. The sleeping quarters are small, with sailors sharing a room with up to 60 other people in single bunks known as racks. Everyone in the room shares a restroom and a small common area with a television, a storage bin, and an upright locker for clothes and personal items. This is due to the fact that most of the space available on the ship is for equipment. Despite the confined conditions, the carrier has everything its crew members need to live comfortably. It has facilities you can't imagine in the middle of the sea. Let's take a look at it. The recreational areas. The recreational areas aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford cater to the crew's well-being and morale, providing them with a variety of activities to enjoy during their downtime. The ship features a well-equipped gym and fitness center, allowing crew members to stay fit and healthy. The facility offers various exercise equipment such as treadmills, stationary bikes, weight machines, and free weights. A movie theater is available to relax and enjoy films during their off-duty hours. The ship's library offers a quiet space for reading, studying, or simply relaxing with a good book. The Gerald R. Ford includes a barber shop, ensuring that the crew members have access to haircuts and grooming services while at sea. The barber shop is staffed by trained professionals and contributes to maintaining a neat and disciplined appearance for the crew. The ship also features various game and lounge areas where crew members can unwind, socialize, and engage in leisure activities. These spaces may include comfortable seating, television screens, and gaming consoles, as well as board games, card games, and other recreational activities. One of the most crucial shops on an aircraft carrier is the ship's store. The store offers a variety of items, including toiletries, clothing, and electronics. Sailors can purchase snacks, drinks, and other essentials, as well as souvenirs and gifts for their loved ones back home. Prices at the store are comparable to those on land, and sailors can pay with cash or credit. Sailors receive a non-taxable Basic Allowance for Subsistence, or BAS, to cover their food costs on board. They can use their Navy exchange card to buy groceries and other items at ship stores, which have prices similar to those on shore. Operated by the Navy Exchange Service Command, or NEXCOM, these stores offer various products, and profits are reinvested to maintain low prices for sailors. Food. These recreational areas not only offer a respite from the demanding work environment on board, but also help to foster a sense of camaraderie and teamwork among the crew. In addition to the recreational facilities, the sailors also have access to the ship's galley where they can have their meals. The galley of an aircraft carrier is the heart of the ship. It's a bustling hive of activity that operates 24 hours a day, serving up to 18,000 meals a day to the crew of the ship. The galley is one of the most essential and critical parts of an aircraft carrier because feeding thousands of people at sea is no easy feat. The galley is an enormous kitchen spanning several decks on the ship. It's equipped with a variety of ovens, fryers, grills, and other cooking equipment to prepare an array of meals. The galley is staffed by over 100 sailors, many of whom have specialized training in culinary arts. The galley is open all day, every day, so sailors can grab a meal whenever they have a free moment. Meals are served in shifts to ensure that the crew is fed throughout the day. The food is always fresh, and the menu changes every day to provide a variety for the crew. To ensure the freshness of the food, the galley receives regular resupply missions from other ships. This resupply mission is known as an underway replenishment, where a supply ship meets the aircraft carrier at sea to provide food, fuel, and other essential supplies. This enables the galley to serve up fresh meals daily, even on extended missions. The galley is divided into various sections, each with a specific responsibility. There's a bakery section where fresh bread and pastries are made every day. The salad section provides fresh greens and toppings, while the entree section is responsible for the hot dishes. The dessert section, of course, is where the sweets and treats are prepared. Meals are served buffet style, with sailors able to help themselves to a wide range of dishes. The galley provides plenty of options, from classic American dishes like hamburgers and hot dogs to international cuisine like sushi and stir-fry. There's always something for everyone. The galley also caters to sailors with specific dietary requirements. For example, sailors who are vegetarian or have food allergies can request special meals, which the galley will prepare to meet their needs. This ensures that everyone on board the ship is well fed and healthy. Before we go any further, I'm curious to know if you have as much respect for the men and women of the U.S. Navy. Like this video to express your respect and thank them for their service, or leave a blue heart below this video. Let's move on. Resupply. How does the ship get resupplied in the middle of the sea if it's on a mission for months? The process of resupplying an aircraft carrier in the middle of the sea is a carefully planned and choreographed operation. In many cases, the aircraft carrier is accompanied by a fleet of supply ships, which are tasked with the crucial responsibility of keeping the aircraft carrier operational. The resupply process is carried out using an ingenious system known as the underway replenishment. This system involves supply ships coming alongside the aircraft carrier while both vessels are still in motion. The two vessels are then connected using a series of cables, lines, and hoses, which are used to transfer supplies, fuel, and ammunition from the supply ship to the aircraft carrier. The process of transferring fuel is particularly delicate, as it involves transferring large amounts of volatile and combustible material from one vessel to the other. To ensure safety, the supply ships are equipped with a series of safety measures, including spill containment systems, fire suppression equipment, and other safety gear. The process of resupplying an aircraft carrier is carried out by a team of sailors who are specially trained in underway replenishment. These sailors are responsible for ensuring that the transfer of supplies and fuel is carried out quickly and efficiently, minimizing the amount of time the aircraft carrier spends alongside the supply ship. The process of resupplying an aircraft carrier is not without its challenges. The high seas can be unpredictable, with rough weather and high waves making it difficult to carry out the transfer of supplies and fuel. Additionally, the process of transferring large amounts of material from one vessel to another requires a high degree of coordination and skill, as a single mistake can have catastrophic consequences. Let's move on to the hangar bay. Before we get to the dangerous flight deck, let's see what happens in the hangar bay. Located directly below the flight deck, and probably the largest space on the Atlantic, where mechanics in green shirts crawl like ants all over planes, peering into engines with flashlights and turning wrenches. The hangar bay of the USS Gerald is a bustling, dynamic area where aircraft are stored, maintained, and prepared for flight operations. The hangar bay is an essential part of the ship's overall mission, and the sailors working there play a crucial role ensuring that the aircraft are ready for action whenever needed. The space is massive, capable of housing multiple aircraft, and the atmosphere is filled with the sounds of machinery, power tools, and the hum of the ship's engines. One of the primary responsibilities of the sailors working in the hangar bay is aircraft maintenance. This includes routine inspections, repairs, and servicing of the aircraft to ensure they're in peak condition and ready for flight operations. Sailors work in teams, each specializing in a specific area of aircraft maintenance, such as airframes, engines, avionics, or weapon systems. They use a combination of technical manuals, computer-based diagnostic tools, and hands-on experience to perform their duties. Another essential task in the hangar bay is moving the aircraft. The sailors use specialized equipment such as tow tractors and aircraft jacks to maneuver the planes in and out of their parking spots and onto the ship's elevators. These elevators transport the aircraft between the hangar bay and the flight deck, where they're launched and recovered during flight operations. Throughout the day, the hangar bay may also be used for training exercises and drills. These activities help sailors to sharpen their skills and ensure that they're prepared for any situation that may arise during real-world operations. Training scenarios can include firefighting drills, damage control exercises, and emergency response simulations. Safety is a top priority in the hangar bay, and sailors are continually mindful of potential hazards. Let's move on up to the flight deck. Life on the carrier can be incredibly demanding and exhausting, but it's also exhilarating, particularly for the men and women working on the flight deck, launching and landing jets on a small runway. On the USS Gerald R. Ford, the flight deck is the epicenter of activity, a bustling and dynamic environment where cutting-edge aircraft launch and land around the clock. Measuring approximately 1,092 feet in length and covering 4.5 acres, the flight deck of this massive aircraft carrier can accommodate over 75 aircraft, including advanced fighter jets, surveillance planes, and helicopters. The flight deck is divided into separate zones for launching and recovering aircraft. On one end, the aircraft are launched using Advanced Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch Systems, or EMALS, a groundbreaking technology that has replaced the traditional steam-powered catapult. This innovative system also allows for smoother and more efficient launches, reducing wear and tear on the aircraft while increasing their payload capacity. Meanwhile, on the other end of the flight deck, aircraft land using an arresting gear system that features Advanced Arresting Gear, or AAG. When an aircraft lands, it deploys a tailhook that catches one of the arresting wires stretched across the deck. The AAG system then absorbs this kinetic energy, bringing the aircraft to a complete stop in just a short distance. This advanced system also allows for safer and more efficient recovery of aircraft, even in challenging weather conditions. But what happens when one of the arresting gear breaks during landing? In the unlikely event that an arresting cable breaks during an aircraft landing on an aircraft carrier like the USS Gerald R. Ford, safety measures and procedures are in place to minimize the risks and damage. First, pilots are highly trained to respond to such situations, which includes executing a bolter. A bolter occurs when an aircraft fails to catch the arresting cables and needs to immediately take off again. Pilots are prepared to apply full throttle and quickly gain altitude, allowing them to circle back and attempt another landing. The aircraft carriers are designed to have ample runway space to enable aircraft to gain enough speed to become airborne in such scenarios. Secondly, the arresting gear systems on modern aircraft carriers, like the Advanced Arresting Gear on the USS Gerald R. Ford, are designed with multiple redundancies. There are several cables stretched across the deck, so if one cable fails or breaks, the chance of the aircraft's tailhook engaging with another cable are still relatively high. In addition, the AAG system is continually monitored and maintained to ensure optimal performance and reliability. Regular inspections and maintenance checks minimize the likelihood of cable failures during critical flight operations. Moreover, the ship's crew is trained to respond to emergencies, including arresting cable failures. In the case of a cable break or snap, the crew quickly assesses the situation and clears any debris from the flight deck to ensure the safe return of the aircraft on its subsequent attempt. Okay, let's go to the crew members on the flight deck. But first, you can help us by liking this video, or leaving a blue heart in the comments, especially for all the crew members aboard a U.S. Navy ship. Show your respect and encourage them. Each crew member wears a colored shirt that corresponds to their specific role, making it easier to identify them amid the flurry of activity. Yellow shirts are aircraft handling officers, responsible for directing the movement and the positioning of aircraft on the flight deck. They're also in charge of coordinating with the air traffic control tower and the ship's commanding officer during flight operations. Green shirts are maintenance personnel and aircraft inspectors who ensure that the aircraft are in optimal condition before taking off and landing. They perform routine checks, repairs, and necessary adjustments to guarantee the plane's safety and performance. Blue shirts are the plane handlers, who assist in moving the aircraft on the flight deck and in the hangar bay. They use tow tractors and other specialized equipment to maneuver planes into the correct positions for takeoff, landing, and storage. Purple shirts are the fuel handlers, also known as the Grapes due to their distinctive purple uniforms. They're responsible for refueling aircraft on the flight deck and monitoring the ship's fuel supply. They ensure that each plane has the required amount of fuel for its mission and follow strict safety protocols during the refueling process. Red shirts are the ordnance handlers and crash and salvage crew members. The ordnance handlers manage the loading, unloading, and storage of weapons and ammunition on the aircraft. The crash and salvage crews are specifically trained to respond to emergencies, such as an aircraft crash, a fire, or other incident on the flight deck. They work with firefighting equipment, rescue gear, damage control tools to minimize risk and protect the crew and aircraft during emergencies. Brown shirts are typically aviation bosun's mates, and they're responsible for the operation and maintenance of the ship's aircraft catapults, arresting gear, and other equipment related to flight deck operations. They play a crucial role in the launching and recovery of aircraft and ensure that the carrier's flight operations run smoothly and safely. In addition to these color-coded roles, there are also white shirts, who are medical personnel, safety observers, and landing signal officers. They oversee the overall safety of the flight deck operations and provide medical assistance when necessary. On the busy and noisy flight deck of an aircraft carrier like the USS Gerald R. Ford, effective communication is crucial for maintaining safety and efficiency. One of the primary ways that flight deck personnel communicate is through the use of a complex system of hand signals. These signals allow crew members to convey essential information without relying on spoken word, which could be difficult to hear over the roar of the jet engines. Each role on the flight deck has its own set of hand signals that they use to communicate with each other and with the pilots. These signals help to coordinate the movement of aircraft, equipment, and personnel, ensuring that all operations run smoothly and safely. Some hand signals are used to instruct pilots on the speed and direction they should taxi. For instance, the marshaller may use a come forward signal, which consists of both arms extended forward, palms facing up, and an upward scooping motion. To instruct a pilot to turn, the marshal extends one arm in the desired direction while the other arm points towards the ground. During aircraft recovery, the landing signal officer, or LSO, uses a series of hand signals to guide pilots to their approach and landing. These signals include the wave-off signal, which instructs the pilot to abort the landing attempt and go around for another approach. The LSO extends both arms straight out to the sides and waves them vigorously up and down. The flight deck is also equipped with visual landing aids, such as the Fresnel Lens Optical Landing System, or FLOLS, FLOLS for short, which provides pilots with glide slope information to ensure a safe landing. However, hand signals remain an essential backup communication method in case of system failures or other emergencies. Crew members are trained to respond quickly and accurately to these hand signals, as miscommunications can lead to dangerous situations. Regular drills and training exercises help to reinforce the use of hand signals and ensure that all personnel are familiar with their meanings. Operating on the flight deck is an already challenging task, but when faced with varying weather conditions, the demands on the crew become even more formidable. High winds, heavy rain, and low visibility can significantly impact flight deck operations, requiring crew members to adapt and execute their duties with heightened precision and caution. High winds are a common concern, as they can affect aircraft takeoffs and landings, making them more challenging and even more dangerous. When faced with strong winds, crew members must use their training to securely handle the aircraft to the flight deck to prevent them from being blown off course or causing damage to themselves or the ship. Pilots must also rely on their expertise and communication with the landing signal officer to execute safe takeoffs and landings under these challenging conditions. Heavy rain poses another challenge for flight deck personnel. Rain can reduce visibility and create slippery surfaces, increasing the risk of accidents. Crew members must exercise extra caution when moving around the flight deck and handling aircraft during rainy conditions. They may also need to don specialized protective gear to stay dry and maintain their footing. In extreme cases, flight deck operations may be temporarily halted if the rain becomes too intense or if lightning is present, as it poses a significant risk to both the crew and the equipment. Low visibility situations, such as fog or heavy cloud cover, can also complicate flight deck operations. Pilots rely heavily on visual cues for takeoffs and landings, so reduced visibility can make these tasks more challenging. In these scenarios, the ship's advanced radar and communication systems become crucial, allowing pilots to receive accurate guidance and coordinate with the flight deck personnel. The Fresnel Lens Optical Landing System, or FLOLS, plays a vital role in providing pilots with glide slope information to ensure safe landings even in low visibility conditions. EMALS. How are the aircraft on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier launched so quickly off the deck? EMALS is a technology that uses electromagnetic power to launch aircraft off the flight deck, replacing the old steam catapults used on previous carriers. The system consists of linear motors that generate a magnetic field that propels the aircraft down the catapult track. One of the most significant advantages of EMALS over steam is its ability to launch a wider variety of aircraft. The old steam catapults required different settings for different aircraft, which slowed down the launch process and put more stress on the aircraft and their pilots. In contrast, EMALS can adjust its launch settings automatically, allowing for a smoother and more efficient launch process. Another significant advantage is its ability to reduce maintenance and operating costs. Steam catapults require extensive maintenance and can break down more frequently due to their complex mechanical systems. In contrast, EMALS has fewer moving parts and a simpler design, making it more reliable and easier to maintain. But perhaps the most critical advantage is its ability to increase safety for aircraft and pilots. Steam catapults use a burst of steam to launch aircraft, which can cause stress on the airframe and the pilot. In contrast, EMALS provides a smoother launch, reducing the stress on the aircraft and pilots and minimizing the risk of damage or injury. The EMALS is a massive feat of engineering. The system is capable of launching aircraft weighing up to 100,000 pounds, making it capable of launching everything from fighter jets to heavy cargo planes. It's also capable of launching aircraft at speeds of up to 165 knots, making it faster and more efficient than the old steam catapults. But it is just one of the many advanced features of the USS Gerald R. Ford. The ship is also equipped with advanced weapon systems, radar and communication systems, and state-of-the-art propulsion technology. All of these features work together to make the Ford the most capable and lethal warship in the world. As the lead ship of its class, the Ford is the epitome of modern naval warfare and technological prowess. Its advanced features ensure that it is not only the most powerful warship, but also the most capable of defending itself and dominating the seas. One key aspect of the Ford's capabilities lies in its state-of-the-art radar and communication systems. The Ford is equipped with some of the most advanced radar and communications in the world. These systems are designed to enable the ship to detect and track threats at long ranges, communicate with other naval assets in real time, and engage and defeat threats with precision. The ship is also equipped with advanced communication capabilities, including satellite communications and secure radio systems. These systems allow the ship to maintain constant communication with other naval assets, including other ships, aircraft and command centers, and enable the ship to share data and information in real time. This communication capability is critical for effective command and control of the ship's weapon systems, as well as for coordinating with other naval assets in the theater. The Ford is also equipped with advanced passive radar and electronic warfare systems. The ship's passive radar system is capable of detecting and tracking targets without emitting any detectable signals, making it difficult for an enemy to detect the ship's presence. The ship's electronic warfare systems are designed to jam and disrupt enemy radar and communication systems, further increasing the ship's survivability and effectiveness in combat. All of these advanced radar and communication systems work together to make the USS Gerald R. Ford the most advanced and effective warship in the world. The ship's ability to detect and track threats at long ranges, communicate effectively with other naval assets, and engage and defeat threats with precision enable it to dominate on the seas. But is the Gerald R. Ford impossible to sink? Although no ship can be considered impossible to sink, the Ford's design and technology make it one of the most resilient warships in the world. One of the key aspects contributing to the Ford's survivability is its stealth technology. The ship's superstructure is designed with angles and materials that reduce its radar cross-section, making it more difficult for enemy radar to detect and track. Additionally, the Ford's propulsion system produces less noise and heat, making it harder for adversaries to detect it using sonar or infrared sensors. Another factor contributing to the ship's resilience is its advanced damage control system. The Ford is equipped with state-of-the-art firefighting and damage control equipment, as well as specially trained personnel who can quickly respond to emergencies such as fires, floods, or battle damage. The ship also features improved compartmentalization, with watertight doors and bulkheads designed to limit the spread of flooding in case of hull breaches. The Ford's extensive defensive capabilities further enhance her survivability. The ship's missile defense system, such as the Evolved Sea Sparrow Missile or ESSM, and the Rolling Airframe Missile or RAM, also provide robust protection against airborne threats, while the Close-In Weapon System provides a last line of defense against incoming missiles and small boats. Furthermore, the Ford operates as part of a larger naval task force, typically including guided missile cruisers, destroyers, and submarines, which provide additional layers of protection against enemy threats. This combined force can deter or neutralize potential attackers before they can pose a significant threat to the carrier. Is there a risk of the aircraft falling off the flight deck? Although aircraft carriers such as the Ford are designed to minimize the risk of in-flight accidents, it is still possible for aircraft to fall off the deck under certain circumstances. However, various safety measures and procedures exist to reduce the likelihood of such incidents. In addition to weather monitoring systems, the Ford's flight deck is also designed to minimize the risk of aircraft falling off the deck. The deck features non-slip surfaces for better traction for aircraft during takeoff and landing. The ship's advanced arresting gear is designed to decelerate aircraft safely and efficiently during landing, reducing the likelihood of them shooting across the deck. In an emergency, such as when the cockpit of an aircraft becomes inoperable or a brake fails, safety barriers called jet blast deflectors can be raised to prevent the aircraft from rolling over the edge of the deck. These barriers are made of reinforced steel and can withstand the force of a jet engine, providing an additional layer of protection. Flight deck crew members who wear the colored shirts are also trained to respond to emergencies and coordinate with other departments to ensure the safety of both aircraft and personnel. Regular drills contribute to a high level of crew preparedness and situational awareness, further reducing the risk of accidents. As we delve deeper into the advanced capabilities of the USS Gerald R. Ford, it's worth exploring also one of its most groundbreaking weapon system. This system not only offers unprecedented power, but also has the potential to revolutionize naval warfare. Perhaps the most notable feature of the ship's weapon system is its electromagnetic railgun. The railgun is a revolutionary weapon system that uses an electromagnetic field to accelerate projectiles up to hypersonic speeds. The railgun has a range of up to 100 nautical miles and is capable of firing projectiles at speeds of up to Mach 7. This makes it one of the most advanced and lethal weapons in the world. The railgun has been in development by various departments of the US military over the past few years. In several tests, it was shown to be able to easily pierce the hulls of aircraft carriers. One of the major factors that have hindered the deployment of a railgun technology by the US military is the fact that not only does it require an obscene amount of energy to operate, but it also generates a lot of heat that can warp the barrel of the gun, making it a one-time use. It requires a ton of cooling for the barrel and the superconductors creating the magnetic field in the rail. Due to all these reasons, it is still impossible to deploy them on armored tanks and aircraft. But it is possible to deploy them in aircraft carriers like the Ford. Why? Well, it's because the USS Gerald Ford comes with 2 nuclear reactors that can generate up to 1.38 megawatts of electricity. That's almost triple that of the Nimitz class. Therefore, this power generated should be more than enough to power the railguns. Another factor that is beneficial to the deployment of railguns on high seas is the availability of water. Water from the seas can be employed to cool the barrels of the railguns. Another critical component of the Gerald Ford's offensive capabilities is the Tomahawk Land Attack Missiles, or TLAMs, which are long-range, all-weather subsonic cruise missiles capable of both sea and land-based assaults. The Tomahawk Land Attack Missiles, simply called Tomahawks, are an important piece in an aircraft carrier's attack capability. They are long-range, all-weather subsonic cruise missiles capable of both sea and land-based assaults. Tomahawks boast a range of up to 2,500 kilometers. These missiles can strike targets deep within enemy territory without endangering the USS Gerald Ford. Furthermore, because of their advanced guidance systems and they are extremely accurate, this enables them to strike targets with high precision, reducing the risk of collateral damage and increasing the strike's effectiveness. What do you find the most fascinating thing about the Gerald Ford? Or are you working on a US Navy ship? Please let us know in the comments below and share your thoughts and experiences. Leave a blue heart in the comments as well to thank all the crew members for their services. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel for more exciting content. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.